Hello there and welcome back. Well, our birthday celebrations continue. And I just wondered, are you doing the same as me with Paola there, clicking your heels together just as we kick the show off? Well, of course, we are here at 8 o'clock with another live hour from our fabulous one day special. And my goodness, what a busy launch we had. Kathryn, nearly 60% of the stock of the one day special has gone.
Do you know, I expected it to be busy, but I didn't think we would have lost that much stock already. Honestly, thank you very, very much to everyone who's purchased. Do stay with us throughout the one day special though, because we've got much more to come.
We have indeed. And if you have been watching the editorial about the birthday celebrations, you'll know about all the different bits and pieces. Sadly, one of the benefits of ordering during our kind of birthday event is for a limited period of time, or limited quantity, should I say. We have been including a free gift within your order. That went blink of an eye, as you would imagine, 6 o'clock. So we haven't got a free gift coming out to you during this hour, but what we have got is the ability for you to earn yourself a £5 credit. In fact, some of you may well have already done that because you possibly place your order in the 6 o'clock show. Well, straight away, if you're placing your order for £25 or more, you will get a £5 credit that you can use right the way through to the 2nd of September. Now, I didn't realise, but it's actually active now. So if you've already placed an order during our birthday event, then you can use that £5 credit, but you only get to use it once, so spend it wisely. But this could be the hour to do it. You may have got your one day special, you may have got some of those additional bits and pieces that Kathryn's brought to you, but of course you can come back and place your order of these. Something else to mention as well, we've got some fabulous goodies on the hour, and I know you're probably going to be picking and choosing and popping lots of different bits into your basket. One thing to let you know, if you're adding any Pentart products into your basket, then you just need to be made aware that it is, because there's a slight delay with regards to Pentart, which will have a knock-on effect for your order. But if you're just going for Zuri, they are in our warehouse and they are ready to go. Tick Zuri, tick Pentart. Oh, Freedom. Need to tell you about Freedom. Now, with Freedom membership, it's changed. So from now, in fact, from 6 o'clock this evening, if you become a Freedom member or are an existing Freedom member, then you're only going to be paying £5.97 a month. That's me and you, Kathryn. It is, isn't it? So what we're going to spend it on. But it's not just for birthday event. It's an ongoing event. Now, an ongoing thing, should I say. But you might be like me thinking, well, hang on a minute. What about the payment I've got that I'm making? Is that going to change? It is. Now, if you've already made your payment for the last month or so, then of course that will be at £6.97. But good news, the next one will only be £5.97. Yay! Goody.
Extra pound to spend.
An extra pound to spend. That'll take me about the blink of an eye. That will, especially in hours like this. But of course, you can become a Freedom member during this hour, and you'll just be paying £5.97. I think that's everything now. For now, if I think of anything else, I'll let you know. But the key thing is, if you're liking the one day special or love anything Zuri, then you will know just how busy we get. Now, we've got the details on the screen there. You have got 3 absolutely incredible moulds. I mean, these are beautiful, Kathryn.
They are absolutely stunning, aren't they? And again, as you would expect now from Zuri, the detail is just incredible. It really, really is. There's been lots of people, Hayley, waiting eagerly for these because there was sneaky peeks on Zuri's own Facebook page and on social media, so many people have been waiting a long time to see these.
I love it. Now, of course, the details are there on your screen, so if you fancy getting involved, you can do. Kathryn, you had some fabulous demonstrations during the last hour. For anybody that missed the show, what did you do at 6 o'clock that we can go back and watch?
Right, we worked with Mercurial Beast, first of all, which is one of the one day special moulds, and I did show you how to work with the hearty air dry clay, which is the way I normally like to start, but how to adapt that mould as well. In fact, I have got the piece that I was working on. It's not fully dried, but showing how to adapt it and make it more three-dimensional as well. So I don't know if we can just come in a little bit.
So go back and watch that.
Let's see. Oh, the camera's a bit far away at the moment. I'll probably show you this at demonstration
Not a problem.
again.
I'll put you on the spot a bit there because I didn't get to see all of the show, but
there we
look
are.
at that.
There are
that
little supports under the wing there just to hold everything in place as it's drying, and I did sort of make the tail or the fin on the tail a little bit more dimensional as well there.
Fabulous.
We worked with resin as well, Hayley.
Okay.
We did yes, we did.
Oh, you made it crystal clear.
I did. Shall we do that at demo again?
Oh, well,
maybe we'll do that
again.
later.
We'll do it in a little while.
Do that.
Jumping ahead of myself again, as I always do, because I want to see what we can do. but we will have a look in a few moments. So Core's one day special, I mean, these are beautiful. As you can see, all of these coming to you for just £24.99 delivered to your door if you are a Freedom member. Second payment in a month's time, or you can go for them all in one go at £49.97. 596-813 if you fancy getting hold of those. Lots more choice for you as well. So maybe you have got that £5 credit and you're thinking, yeah, my £5 credit has got Zuri's name on it. Well, perhaps this is the item that you're going to be using. Now, look at this. We are looking at Medusa. And she's not on her own. You can see there you've got this fabulous set here. You've got White Fang alongside. The detail that you've got from these is absolutely phenomenal. Who'd have thought that you could get this amount of detail when you're working with a silicone mould? Well, when you're looking at Zuri designs, you certainly can do. Love this because you can see all the lines in her face and her eyebrows, and it's just amazing.
Do you know, if we see the VT of the samples as well, watch out for Medusa on there as well, because depending on how you work with this, the colours that you use, there's little cracks around her eyes as well. There is so much detail in there, and you can really bring that detail forward using the different mediums that you may have already got, or some that we've got on the show as well.
I love that. Lots of different mediums, lots of different ways to work with things that you may already have in your stash. So perhaps this is a set to do it with. So there you go. You got on your screen there two different choices of these, but nearly 60% of Medusa has gone. That's a fabulous one that we're looking at there with all of those snake-like elements that you've got there. And nearly half of White Fang. And I like this one of White Fang because you can see that you can actually, there's two moulds within one with this one because you've got two sets, as you can see. But I love this because as you look at it, you can see there's certain elements that you could actually pull away and break away and actually make this into something quite unique of your own. So 043117 if you fancy getting hold of those. Absolutely amazing. Now, Kathryn mentioned finished samples and a little bit of video. We're going to share that with you. Do jump ahead and have a little look on the website. There are plenty more for you to tempt yourself with. If you've not seen these already, feast your eyes on these. Thank you. Right now, those lovely, lovely samples that you've just seen there, created by the design team of Zuri, and they're worldwide as well. We've got some in the UK, there's Holland, and also the US as well. So thank you very, very much. Now, the first demonstration, I'm actually going to whip one of the moulds from the one day special. I'm going to go for it's a double, this one, Hayley. This is, you've really got value for money. You've got the horses, haven't you? I like this.
It's beautiful, isn't it? So as I normally do, I'm going to start with the air dry clay, and it is, as we normally have on the show, the hearty air dry clay as well, which is the professional grade, very lightweight and very strong clay. So great for your cards, great for all sorts of home decor projects as well. A lovely clay to work with and great value as well. Now, I am just dusting the mould there with a little bit of corn flour, simply because, as usual, my clay, you know, it's quite fresh here. I can't wait for this to dry out too much, so I want to make sure that that's going to be released from the mould nice and easily. So just a very quick reminder for anybody that hasn't worked with the clay before, and I will keep this quick because I show this every show, so a lot of people will know this already, but you know, there is a chance there's always somebody new there as well. When you take the clay from the pack, do give it a little bit of a, you know, manipulate it. You want to stretch it, you want to work the moisture through there, you want to condition the clay. It will make it more stretchy, more malleable, and at this stage it is probably a little bit too wet and too malleable to go in your mould. So what I tend to do is roll out, let the air get to the surface. It's impossible to give an absolute correct time because it depends on the temperature in your room, the humidity, but you just want to let the clay breathe a little bit. So I tend to roll out, Give it about 5 minutes or so, flip it over, give it maybe another 5 minutes on the other side, and then work with it. Okay. Now, that hasn't had 5 minutes, but it's quite drying in the studio here with the air conditioning, isn't it, Hayley?
Yeah.
We do find that. So, you know, usually the clay here in the studio dries out quite quickly.
Do you kind of get to know the feel of the clay and the right point?
You certainly do. Do you know, I'm glad you said that, because I said on the show earlier with Scott, every show that I do, I say, you get to know the feel of the clay. And I didn't actually say it then, so it's really good that you did. Right, so the clay that I've rolled out, I'm just going to go straight in with this into the mould. You could scrunch it into a ball, but I'm just going to use it as a flat sheet and then start to fold in from the edge. And of course, if you've got excess clay, you can remove that. If you've got not enough clay, you can add more in. It doesn't matter if you go in one piece or if you add little bits and pieces in, as long as you make sure that you really compact this down into the bottom of the mould.
Do you always keep the clay as like a white colour, or can you change it?
No, you can change it. We do have the coloured hearty. I don't know if it's in stock at the moment. I think hopefully we've got it back for this show. But there are other ways of colouring as well, which we'll probably go through a little bit more tomorrow. We've got some mediums from Pentart that will do that as well. But at the moment, I'm working with the white, simply because this particular piece is likely to be painted or have some sort of wax or finish on there.
And I suppose that's the easy way of adding colour, isn't it? Because you're not adding it to the density of the piece that you're creating.
That's right. I mean, it is nice to colour the clay. Something like the flamingo that we've got on would be lovely to colour straight away, because your main colour, if you're going to have a colour that you're going to see more than anything else, it's worth pre-colouring your clay to that colour to go into the mould, and then adding the other colours with your mediums afterwards. It makes it easier.
Just to let you know, the hearty is available if you're wanting it. It's on the website. All you need to do is go to the search field and to kind of put it in there. Loads. Oh, it's actually in the Zuri brand section, even easier. So yeah, brand section, top left-hand corner of the website. Pick a mix. You can choose your colour, and you can go for repeats of those. So if you did want something that's got a solid black tone to it, then that's a fabulous way of getting hold of it. As you can see there, or maybe you want to go for that green and create a kind of verdigris look. Maybe that's a nice one to go for as well.
They're very highly pigmented, those clays, as well, so you need the tiniest bit to make a difference with the colour, so add a little bit at a time. Now, I've put my clay into the mould, and what I'm looking for is a nice, even finish. I need to make sure this is compacted down to pick up all of that wonderful detail. So I need to make sure that's flat with the surface or the outer surface of the framework there, the mould itself. So I tend to use a rolling pin. You don't have to have a clear one like me. This is made of acrylic. If you've got a nylon one, that will work just as well. When you roll over the top, what you can see is happening there, you can see an area or a few areas where you can just see a little bit of the mould or the silicone underneath. That is showing me that there's a gap there, so I need to pull away that clay. But also, there were any low points, I'd see those as well. So I can see one or two little areas where there are those little posts that are sticking up, so I'm just going to clean those away, because they are meant to be gaps within the clay.
And again, you get to know the gaps that you've got with your mould.
You will, you really, really will. I mean, sometimes you will find there's areas that are raised but not quite as high, and they're not gaps as such or holes that will appear in the clay. They are part of what forms the detail in there. So it's those that come to the level of the edge of the frame that you want to clean away. So the little nose there, we'll just clean up there, because you can see there's a tiny little gap in between the nose of the horse and also the body there as well. So do take time just to clean up with your fingertips. Make sure you compact that clay down. And I am literally just tidying up now by pulling the clay in from the edge, just to make sure I'm revealing the outer line, because it will give me a nicer finish.
Now with the moulds, Kathryn, can I just ask you, it's like Question City here, I'm just asking different idea. With these, are they purely just for using like in a crafting environment, or could we use them for icing if you wanted to do kind of fantasy cards?
They are food grade, so obviously if you're using food or edibles, then do get a second set. But we're not just talking about clay, we are talking about different types of resin, we're talking about wax, soap, UT, hot glue. When it comes to your foods, of course, you've got marzipan, you've got fondant, you've got chocolate there as well. These will also withstand heat up to 240 degrees centigrade. So if you've got oven baked clay, you can put your clay into the mould and directly into the oven.
Wow.
So you don't even have to release the clay first.
They're really versatile.
They are. You can even turn these into ice cube trays, Hayley, because you can freeze these as well down to -70.
Wow.
So
I'm
honestly,
glad I asked.
they are just incredible. Right, so I've tidied up a little bit there, and what you want to do now is flex the mould. Now, if your clay was too wet, if you've just mixed it from the pack and gone straight in, and you find that your clay is stretching or bending with the mould, if I just bend that there, if you look at this area here, there's a little bit of a bend on there, and that's because I know this clay could be drier than it is. I know I'm going to get away with this one, but just watch out for that. If it's not coming away freely, it is simply that your clay is too wet. So take it out of the mould, that would be my tip. Let it dry a little bit longer and then go in again. But I've just tipped that out, and there now you can see all of the beautiful detail that you've got. Isn't that a beautiful?
That is gorgeous.
Beautiful, beautiful face on that.
And I know I've
horse,
said it
isn't
before, but I'm going to say it again. You can see the muscle tone as well. And this is something that is absolutely amazing with these moulds.
I know. I'm going to let that one dry, and I'll probably do something with that in a demonstration tomorrow. So we'll leave that to dry overnight. I would say to you, even though it feels dry to touch within, I don't know, half an hour to an hour, it will still have moisture in there. So if you're sticking onto a card or something that's porous, it will leach out that water. So make sure you leave them overnight to dry. So I'll just pop that to one side because that's the air dry clay.
Okay.
We're going to move on to, we're going to stay, I think, with the one day special for now. Then I'm going to move on to Medusa.
Okay.
So we're going to go to Mercurial Beast again, and I'm going to work with the resin as I did earlier.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to mix some resin, and for this demonstration, I'm sticking with Elichem. We are going to use A1, hopefully during this hour as well. But for the first part of the demonstration, it will be Elichem because there's something else I can do that I didn't do in the earlier show. So I'm just looking for my scales, which are here. I'm just going to grab one of my very wobbly silicone pouring cups, which are really, really useful. Now I'm going to turn the scales on, get them to naught. Obviously, when I put the mixing cup on there we go.
And
it's
is it
going to go up a
important to
little
do
bit.
it with a set of scales?
When it comes to Elichem, it's 1 part resin and 1 part hardener.
Okay.
So if you've got something with a measuring cup, you could easily measure it out without having to weigh it.
Okay.
Okay, but I think when I'm in the studio, it's quite nice that everybody can see that as well. Now, when it comes to Elichem, I'm going to go with the resin first of all. Now, this does come in different sizes. Now, I've got to be a little bit careful how I pour this because I want to try and get to a certain amount without overdoing it.
Okay.
I mixed, I think it was, was it 50 of each last time? I'm not going to mix that much this time because I had to find a way of using it up after the show. I'm just going to go with 30. So we'll go as close as I can to 30, and it is 1 part of one, 1 part of the other, so it wouldn't really matter how far I went with this. It's quite an easy one to work out.
And is it a similar sort of scenario? You get to know the quantity that you need for the moulds?
It is. You can gauge it quite well once you've done it the first time. But what I would say, Hayley, is make sure that you've got a mould with small elements in there. Something like one of the Prima moulds, perhaps it's got multiple little holes in there, or one of the smaller Zuri moulds would be great, because if you've got anything spare in your cup, you don't want to waste it when it comes to resin. But of course, it's not just for moulds. You could use it for pouring onto polymer clay jewellery. You could use it for putting over your acrylic paintwork. There's so many reasons for using resin. So it certainly isn't just for the moulds. I think we've got Elichem coming back soon, actually.
Oh, okay.
Right, I'm going to pour in now another 30. So I'm going to take this up to 60. I've not taken that off. So I'll start pouring, then I'll kind of ease off a little bit on it because I don't want to over pour, because I can't put it back in because I've got the hardener going in now, so I can't mix them in the bottles. So, oh, right, okay. So just, I'm getting there, Hayley. Just got to be a bit careful.
I don't want to speak to you in case I distract you.
We're on 60. We've done it, spot on. Okay, so now the scales can be put to one side, and I'm just going to use a little spoon for stirring.
Do we have to think about whether it's a wooden spoon, plastic spoon, metal spoon?
A plastic spoon is actually best.
Okay.
I'm using a wooden one at the moment because I just happen to have some spare. You wouldn't get the resin off the spoon afterwards, so you would dispose of that. But if you go for a plastic spoon, you can reuse it, because you can break away the resin afterwards. You can clean it up and reuse it. So do bear that in mind. I wouldn't suggest a metal one really. A wooden one's great, but yes, you wouldn't get constant uses out of it. So I'm going to give it a good old stir, really mix that around, make sure you get right to the bottom of the pot.
And is there a set amount of time for stirring?
Give it at least a minute. If you've got a smaller pot like this and it's maybe a little bit trickier or it's quite full, give it maybe a couple of minutes. Yes, you could do a little bit of singing and dancing perhaps.
Oh, is it like washing your hands? So you've got to choose a song that's going to be the right length of time.
It is. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sure it will be fine, but at home just make sure you do give it a good mix. And then I'm using Mercurial Beast. Now you can see I've had a little bit of corn flour in here because I used it earlier. When you're using your resin, please do make sure you wash your moulds out fully, because it will pick up any residue of anything you've had in there before. It won't stop the resin working, but you won't get that lovely finish. It doesn't matter with this one because I'll probably end up painting it, but I'm kind of doing more than one demonstration all in one go. So no need to sort of dust the mould with anything. If you want it crystal clear, I'm going to come back to that a little bit later. We did do this in the earlier show. This particular one, I'm not worrying about it. So I'm not going to sort of go into detail about that at the moment. Now you will notice, and I've got way too much resin again there, so I will try and use that, perhaps when you do a bit of a recap, Hayley. Now you can tip this up, but I'm trying not to overspill on the edges any more than I need to, so I'm just kind of easing that in a little bit. You will get air bubbles, you will be able to see them. You can certainly see some residue in the bottom there as well. But what I'm going to do is take the heat gun, and I'm just going to turn the heat gun onto the resin, and the bubbles that are there will start to clear. They're just popping. There's some quite large ones at the bottom there, so I might need to leave the heat on a little bit longer. But you just keep that moving, and that will release those air bubbles within the mould. You can see it looks a lot clearer already.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that point then, you're ready for that to sit and to set. Now, when it comes to this resin, it is advisable to allow it to cure for 24 hours. But I've got a little trick, and I've got some that are drying overnight or curing overnight. I demould after about 8 hours, and there's a reason for that. So if you watch tomorrow, you'll see why that is. But for now, Hayley, I'm going to leave that there. I think we need to do a bit of a recap, and then we'll come back to that.
Fabulous. Sounds like a plan to me. So let's give you a little insight into some of the other goodies that we've got for you. Of course, we've got the one-day special. Naturally, it's 8 o'clock. That's what we cover at 8 o'clock in the evening. And these were launched at 6 o'clock to resounding success, as Zuri always are. Everybody's waiting for these to arrive, and there was a lot of hype before these even arrived. So well done to everybody that's got involved with these already. Now, if you've not got involved already, well, you still can do, because still got stock available, and we've still got that fabulous saving. Sadly, we haven't got your purchase, your gift with purchase, because we are in an event. It's our birthday, and when you get your orders in nice and early, you may find yourself getting that kind of freebie gift. Sadly, they all got snapped up at 6 o'clock, so we haven't got those available now, but you will get your £5 credit that you can use at a later stage, which is good. So it's best to have something than nothing. Details are on your screen there, 596813, 2 flexi buys on these if you fancy getting hold of them. So that may well tempt you to look at some of the other moulds that we've got to add in your basket alongside, because they all work so well together. And that's what we've got with the lovely set to the side of us here. And these are fabulous. Medusa, I mean, so much detail within that mould. And also, of course, you've got fabulous white fang as well. Now, with regards to these, you've got choices. So it's a choice of either Medusa or white fang. Now, look at Medusa. I mean, you've got so much detail in here. Of course, is it Greek mythology that Medusa came from? I'm not too good. I didn't do that. It's technical drawing in Greek mythology, I think, at our school. I don't know what I was doing while everybody was doing those. But anyway, it is Greek mythology. And of course, she had those serpents, those snakes for her hair there. And that's what you've got here. But have a look at the detail. You can see the scaly skin of all of those serpents there. And she's the one that you didn't look at, did you? Because you turned to stone. That's right. Well, she looks very stony-faced here, doesn't she? But I love that like, injection of green there with those beautiful piercing eyes there. So that one is Medusa. So maybe it's Medusa that you're going to be going for at just $19.99, or maybe you are going for that spiritual animal, the wolf. Well, here you've got white fang, but you've kind of got white fang in 2 different guises, because you've got that full kind of facial profile with all that detail in there. It's very exotic style, as you can see there. And of course, you can be creating these to give them the illusion that they've been created with molten metal? Or have you got your white fang there howling? Oh, I've got some lovely howling going on in my ear there, absolutely beautiful. Howling up at the big white moon, as you can see there. But again, the detail that you've got within the fur there, the ears, it's almost like twists within. It's not a mane, but you know what I mean, around. I suppose it could be called a mane, couldn't it? Like with I nearly said a snake, a lion. That's the word I was looking for, a snake. Anyway, you've got your two different choices with these, so whichever you go for, you know that you're going to be able to create some amazing things with those moulds when you receive them. 043117. And don't forget, the Zuri moulds are in our warehouse, ready to be shipped. So if you're placing your order for that set, then yeah, they're going to be on their way to you. Lots of other goodies on the show as well. So if you're adding other items in, then you may find that you've got an extended delivery, but I'll tell you about that as the hour progresses. This particular one here, oh wow. Absolutely beautiful. You've got the magical warrior and majesty. That's right, your majesty warrior. I remember now. I think we saw this one before. I love this because it's like the wind has caught of the hair again there. And then you've got, of course, your fabulous bugs, your lovable bugs. £19.99. Again, an incredible amount of detail. I mean, the finished samples, you go to pick them up because they look as if they should weigh a lot heavier than they actually are. This is the beauty. I mean, these look like they've been created out of metal again there. Beautiful detail, even down, it's almost like little tassels creating the body here of this particular piece. This is the one that I remember before when Kathryn bought these to us, and this is where I was talking about the detail that you've got. It's definitely, is it Hurricane Francis that's kind of, or Storm Francis that's doing a thing at the moment? I think it is, isn't it? Certainly got hold of the mains there. Storm Francis, yes. I hope you're managing to keep safe if she's come battering on your front door, so to speak. But there you go. You can see obviously the detail that you've got with these coming through time and time again, and they just look so amazing, absolutely amazing. Now, of course, now is the time for you to be checking out your orders. Kathryn's getting herself ready. I'm the boring bit in the middle. I'm just kind of filling in until Kathryn's ready to do her next bit, and so you're not missing anything. So now you need to be checking out your orders to make sure you're getting hold of those. What else can I tell you about? Oh, the love nest, a bit of love. We've got lovable bugs, and then we've got our little love nest here, and this is a cute one, and again, so much detail. This is the thing with these, when you look into these moulds, there is so much detail, and you may have one mould here, and you can see obviously the outline of the birds featuring there, nestled together in that love nest, but you don't have to use the entire mould. You could be using just this top segment here to take advantage of the beautiful roses, or the bottom segment there taking advantage of the beautiful birds that are in there. It's entirely up to you which segment that you work with. Got a little bit of the packaging here. I don't know how much detail you'll be able to see from there, but you can see that they are literally snuggled up in that little nest of love. £19.99, 988 190. If you fancy getting hold of that mould, then you are going to be in very good company. Now your flamingo. I remember the flamingo. This is a cute one. And again, so much detail, and again it's a clever mould because of course in its entirety you've got the flamingo, but if you're just using the main body there, you've got all that gorgeous floral content. Now this has been a popular one. Third of the stock has gone, and at £18.99, it's not surprising really, is it? We've got a couple of examples here of how you can work with them, and this is the thing, you pick them up, and the air dryer clay, you think that you're picking something up that's going to be really weighty, but no, not the case. So here you can see that the flamingo has been created in almost like a decoupage layer sitting on top to give it more of a rotund look, which I think is beautiful. Again, flat backed. I love this because you can kind of see that clear resin being used there, but then painted to create the most amazing finish, as you can see there. Doesn't that look elegant? That looked fabulous, wouldn't it, on, I don't know, the edge of a cocktail glass or something like that. I think there's loads you can do with these, so yeah, do like those. So yeah, £18.99. Imagine flamingo ice cubes. I love that idea now. 698 299 if you fancy getting hold of those. Got options for you on the next item number, and some really good options as well. So it's entirely up to you which of these you go for £19.99. Now you've got your Wings of Beauty, as you can see here. Look at that. My goodness, that is incredible, isn't it? You've also got your Wings of Beauty. That is the next one that we've got for you. Oh, sorry, that was Wings of Beauty, wasn't it? This is your Fire Breather. I do apologise. This is clever. Can I drop this in to show you? Because this is, look at that old paint. Oh, sorry. Oh, nearly. Other paints are available. It was to show you the brush. I didn't even realise that the name was on the tin. Anyway, look at that. Is this you, Kathryn? Is this by your trade paint? Yeah, she'll give me a nod. It's not what you know. Now you can see the details on your screen if you want your fire breather. And then we're going to the complete contrast with the next one here, with the peacock. And look at the light tones that you've got with this. Oh my goodness. And this is amazing. I can turn this one round with safety because there's nothing on the back. It's a plastic frame. Cheap as cheap can be, these frames, aren't they? But they look amazing. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty, to be sure. So £19.99, £699,224. It's choices of whichever you choose to go for. And of course, you can revisit that item number and pick up the others if you're wanting to. It's entirely up to you. It's just an extra tenner alongside your one-day special. And they just work so beautifully, don't they? Now, this is another pretty one. It's one that we've seen before, and it's always a popular one. And these gorgeous little wings here, the blossoming wings. And they're blossoming because in amongst the wings, you've actually got some floral content. So let me drop this in so you can have a little look. So you can see obviously the detail of the bird in the centre there and those outstretched wings. But when you look closer, you can see those gorgeous flowers all kind of fusing together. I think it's such a clever design. And at £19.99, again, a really good value one to go for. It's a nice one because it's going to fit in many scenarios, isn't it, that one? So 053991 if you want in that one. And the last two, we've got a couple of options for you again here. So with these two, we have got, oh my goodness, look at this one. Beautiful phoenix. And I love this because, again, this one here, I remember from a previous show, the tail on this one has been extended. So when you actually get the mould, and let me bring the mould up, have I got, is it the right one? Yes, it has the right one there. You'll notice that the tail isn't quite as full on the original mould, but quickly and easily you can take multiple layers of that mould, put them together and really create your own design, which I think is incredible there. Not sure I managed to take off. You'd have to have very strong wings, wouldn't you, to carry a tail like that. £18.99. So much detail, absolutely beautiful. And then the Graceful Swan, that's what's featuring in this particular one here. And again, just so easy to take something that could be literally, I mean, we've got a little saucer here. I mean, this could be a leftover dish or a kind of saucer from your kitchen cupboard, or maybe it's kind of one of those terracotta little kind of pots that you've got. And just, I mean, look at that. Absolutely amazing, the results you can get. And again, is this the same one? It is. Totally different look because the dimension, again, building up that design, that's what it's all about. I love these. You can get so many different effects.
The one on the plate, Hayley, is done with air dry clay, so you will see a slight bit of shrinkage with air dry clay. The Black Swan is polymer clay, the oven baked polymer.
Oh, okay. And that one's kind of,
so
if you're putting it outside, is that the one that you would use?
You can use it outside, but I would protect it with a varnish. But Medina, the air dry polymer, is water resistant and will withstand all sorts of temperatures. So we've got a lot of different mediums and clays on the show.
We need to get our Kathryn on Mastermind. If there's a question about resins or mould or putting things that she knows the answer to them. Now, choices of those on the details are on your screen there, 635 and 856. Now, because it's such a special occasion, we have got some brand new 7-day savers to share with you. So the ones that you might have seen earlier or launched on Sunday, they're on pause. Yeah, they've just been held just a little while. So you can sneak these wonderful ones in for your perusal. So you have got a full week of our birthday celebrations when you can take advantage of these. Some wonderful items brought to you by Oakwood Archer, the mixture of all sorts. You've got some gorgeous organza. You've got your die storage cases, and guess what? Place an order for any one of these items, and is it any one of them, or just choose if you choose a 7-day saver? Ah, so if you choose a 7-day save, I wasn't sure if you could choose them and you get 7 of them. But yeah, you will get 2 glue pens, so quickie glue pens I'm guessing that they're going to be. I'm not too sure, but they might not be. So yeah, you better not quote me on that one, but 2 glue pens nonetheless. So you could go for your red liner tape, you could go for your glass cutting mats. You can go for more than one of the 7-day savers, but you will only get 1 gift because they're generous, but they can't afford to just keep giving these things away. So there you go. Kathryn, what are you up to?
Well, I'm just going to finish off with our mercurial beast because there is more we can do with it. So do count to 6 o'clock and rewind because I was working with the resin in different ways. Now we have got some Pentart media inks here. So these are an alcohol ink. So I'm just going to take a few of these. You won't see an awful lot because of the resin being in the mould. You need to give these a good shake. Now a little tip about these as well is I kept thinking, well, have I cut enough off the top? I can't get anything out. What's going on? There's a little ball bearing in there, and if you're not careful, when you tip them up, if you tip them up too much, it blocks the hole. So just bear that in mind. But you can literally just drop the ink into the resin. So obviously you've got about a 15. Yes, you really will see it moving through. So do you know what? When you use this, make sure that you do it quite quickly because you've got about a 15-minute window before the resin starts to set properly.
Do you know what this likens, what reminds me of? Things like with your alcohol inks, when you're using them on like your UPO papers and they kind of move, you don't know what you're going to get with them.
That's exactly right. And you do get metallics in here as well. Now, I'm not doing anything specific here, but so I think the ball bearing's in the top there as well. Let me just, it's blocked it again. Let me just
While you're doing that, Kathryn, can I read to you? Because we had a lovely email come through earlier on. It was during the 6 o'clock show, and one thing and another, Scott had got his mind on cake and stuff like that, because of course we had our birthday cake. And we had a fabulous email through lovely Leanne, and you know who you are, Leanne, and everybody else will in a few moments. So she emailed in to say, happy birthday, Hochanda. What a joy it is to watch tonight's celebrations, especially as the daughter of one of your presenters, Kathryn. That'll be you then.
It is me.
I have memories of being a tiny child and watching her crafting for fun, eventually stepping up to sell items at primary school and Christmas fairs. To see her now, all these years later, demonstrating a brand she's loved for your 5th birthday celebration is a wonderful feeling. Thank you, Hochanda, for continuing to foster a love of crafting and community. We do try, and we love it. We love it, really do.
Leanne.
Lots of love from Leanne, boyfriend John, and doggos. Billy, Bella, Bobby and Brady. Did you not get very far in that name book when you were naming your dogs?
There is a reason why they're all begin with B, but I'll not tell that story today.
Okay, fair enough then. But thank you, Leanne, and thank you, John, and thank you for all the little pooches for watching as well. Mummy's missing you.
Now I feel really emotional as well. Leanne's staying with me at the moment, so...
Don't start crying because it plays havoc with your resin.
I know. Talking of resin, look, I've just dropped a little bit of the copper in there as well. You can really see, it's almost fizzing there, look, you can see it. So once that is set, and you turn that out of the mould, and of course you're going to see the colours come through. If I turn that to the back, it will look completely different. Wow. And so that is just a resin piece. Now, earlier on I did show how with the moulds, when you put the resin into the moulds, I'm just going to move that out of the way a second before I knock it over.
You need a bigger table.
I know, I've really spread out, haven't I? When you take the resin from the moulds, the resin itself will look like a frosted effect. Okay. You can see through it, you can see colours through. If I put it over the mat there, you can see the colours through. I really like that because I think if you put that onto a jar or a vase, you've got the frosted effect onto clear glass. But there are ways of making it look crystal clear as well.
Right, okay.
So I did show that at 6 o'clock, so I'm not going to run through it in exactly the same way, but there's a couple of ways you can do it, and this is what I did earlier. As an end of call, we have some silicone oil.
All right, okay.
Which is from Pentart. If you add some of that into your mould before pouring the resin in, the clear resin, then that means that when you take that out of the mould, it will be clear.
Okay.
But my favourite way of doing it, and I think this is just such an easy way of working with it, I have got a little bit of resin left from the mix I did earlier. I've got a silicone brush. Now these are normally used for adding face packs and things like that.
Okay.
I did this earlier, but if I just pick this up, you can see we've got our frosted beast there. But as soon as I start to go over the top with a coat of resin, now don't put this on thickly, work it into all that detail. I'm using a silicone brush simply because it cleans off with the resin. If you use your best brushes, you'll not get them clean afterwards, you will spoil your brushes.
Oh my goodness, look
now,
at that.
Again, I've forgotten to bring the white paper in, but hopefully if I put my hand there, you can see, can you see where I've added at the top?
Oh wow.
But not at the bottom. And just let that set. We have got Leanne's email, haven't we? Let's just
use that.
Don't know if it helps or not.
Oh,
but
Leanne,
it makes
you are useful.
such a difference. She is, isn't she? So if I was to bring in something like this one here that's already dry, you can see how clear it is. Look, you can see right through it.
That looks amazing.
And that was the frosted effect when it came out of the mould.
That's amazing. Now, I will mention any of those Pentart goodies that you're adding into your basket may delay your order because there is extended delivery with regards to those. So just bear that in mind if you are adding them in alongside your one-day special.
Okay, now I did promise Medusa this time. I'm going to do more with that coloured resin tomorrow, I think, because I know we haven't got a lot of time tonight. So let's bring in White Fang. Now this here, if I just turn this over, this again was clear resin. Can you see the sparkles in there?
Oh, yes.
There is a Pentart rainbow alcohol ink, and it gives that lovely sparkle.
Oh, my goodness.
But then I did go and spoil it by going over the top with some antiquing paint.
I don't think that's technically spoiling it.
It isn't really, because we're going to change it again. So
Okay.
what I've done, this is Pentart again. So the antiquing paint, we've got various different colours. That is just one coat. You could go over with a second coat if you wanted to. I would advise leaving to dry for about an hour to really let that dry. And then I've got the white one here as well. I'm just going to grab another brush, and then I'm just going to take the white. Well, that's a crunchy brush, I don't want that one.
I can hear the crunch from here. Oh, it's almost a stick.
That's better. Do you know, I did clean all my brushes the other day. I bought some special cleaner that worked amazingly well, but I've already started letting them go crunchy again.
I was going to say, why didn't you bring those brushes with you then?
I have got some, and I've got new ones as well, especially for the one-day special. Just haven't picked them up yet.
Right, so showing that detail off.
I'm going in with the antique, and this is the white. Now, because that's quite wet, it's a very thick paint, this. It is, you know, you use it for antiquing effects, but you can use it and let it dry and leave it as a solid colour as well if you wanted to. Now, I haven't got a wet wipe, but I have got a kitchen towel. Okay. You can get also the antiquing paint remover. Now, because I've got the paper towel, I'm definitely going to use this. Then you wipe away the top coat, and you can see there it's bringing the paint off.
Oh my goodness.
Look at the detail. Now you've seen me do various different techniques to bring detail through. This isn't the way I've shown before, but these paints are absolutely amazing. They are absolutely brilliant. So the detail there now on one of our White Fangs has really, really come through, but you can still take it further because, of course, do you know, if once that's properly dry, and it's not quite dry at the moment, but I'm still going to do this, you can choose a wax, or I've got a kind of a silvery blue somewhere. Let me see. Yes, that one will do. So using a wax, and this is Inca Gold. Viva Decor will be back soon, actually, sometime in early September, I think it is. So I'm going to use a little bit of the wax as well, and then dry brush over the top. My paint's not dry, so it's probably not going to show up quite as it should. But then go over the top with your wax, and that again is really going to bring those details out. So play around with those different mediums. Just because you've used resin doesn't mean you can't paint as well.
This is good because, of course, earlier on you were saying about using up your resin, and you may make these with resin but not really have an end project in mind when you're making them up. So it shows that even if you have made it out of the resin and you're suddenly thinking, well, actually I want something that's got more of a stony look to it, then you can change it even after the event.
I'm glad you said about a stony look, because that's where I'm going next, actually, with Medusa, because I did promise to use Medusa. I've just gone with a different colour wax there, so you can see that coming through. So we build those layers up, and when that's dry, do let those coats dry in between. Don't do what I've just done there and go wet on wet. You won't get the same results. But
one thing I forgot to ask as well, are we okay to make and sell with the Zuri moulds?
You certainly are. Do you know, I'm glad you brought that up, Hayley, because I'd forgotten that as well. You certainly can. The Angel policy does allow you to make and sell as long as you are making a project with the castings. You're not allowed to take castings from the moulds and just sell the castings on. You've got to. You can sell as many as you like of finished projects.
Lovely. That would look fabulous on a mirror or something like that.
It really would. Now then, I have got Medusa here. Now, I was a little bit naughty earlier because I was using the A1 Creatives resin, which is the water-based resin and is coloured. Now, the difference between the resins isn't just that one's clear and one's coloured. If I just bring in, where have I put it? Now, this is not totally cured. I demould the clear resin after about 8 hours because it's malleable, so you can shape it to a vase or a pot or something and then let it fully cure. So there's still movement in that. You can also heat it if you use your heat gun, you can
Really?
heat it and make it malleable as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then when it goes cool, it will set again, so you
Yes.
can still reshape it. When it comes to the water-based resin, you can't do that. It's quicker drying, but you're going to have to keep them flat. You're not going to be able to shape them,
Okay.
but they are absolutely brilliant. Now, we had a very, very busy show with A1 Creatives a little while ago, actually.
Okay.
It was busy, and this stuff is absolutely fantastic. I know a lot of people have been really impressed with it. Now, I did have a gold one on there, and the reason I was a little bit naughty was because I knew it wasn't dry, but I wanted to show you.
Okay.
So I took it out of the mould. So that is
Wow.
with the gold-coloured A1 resin. Look at the detail that has come
okay.
out of there.
It's giving me a chill.
It's honestly,
The
and that is
detail
without
that you've
any
got.
medium on there as well. Now, if you go for the gold, you do get a mica powder with it, and I
Okay.
haven't actually used that there.
Oh, right,
but you can
okay.
put that into your mould before you put the resin in, and it will
Right.
give it a shimmer. But I'll probably do something completely different with that. I will bring those cracks out in her eyes or around her face tomorrow
Wonderful.
as well.
And do check out the brand section if you're looking for A1 Creative. As long as the show was less than 60 days ago, you'll be able to go back and watch the show in its entirety as well.
You certainly will. Now, when it comes to A1 resin, it's not one part and one part like the Elichem. It's a little bit different. Now, if anybody's found my page on Facebook, the Kathryn's Bleak into Unique Transformations, there is a guide at the top. What should happen when you order yours is you have a little barcode, and if you
Okay.
scan that, it will tell you the ratios that you have to mix. But I've posted all those ratios on my
Is this where you
Facebook
said to me,
page.
how am I with my maths earlier on?
Yes, because some of it is 1 part liquid, 2 parts powder. 1 or 2 of them might be, for instance, we've got sandstone, which I absolutely adore. You've got 1 part liquid and 3.5 parts powder.
Oh, I
So
see.
it varies depending on which
And
one
that's
you're
on
using.
your Facebook group?
It is, yes.
Okay.
I'll share it on my own personal one as well, I think, so that everybody can find it there. Now, the concrete is the one I'm going to use. I adore the concrete one as well. 1 part liquid, 3 parts powder.
Okay,
Okay.
1 to 3.
So,
okay.
quite easy to do that. I'm going to get another little mixing cup. Let's go for, do you know, I've got a plastic one that I can use actually. Let's go for this. I save all the little yoghurt pots and things. So, back to naught on my scales. And I'm just going to measure a little bit out. Now, with the concrete, you can see there's colour in there. There are grains of, you know, ground up stone or something in there. So what did I say? 3 parts
1 to
powder,
3, I
1
think it
part
was. 1 to 3.
liquid. So let's go for 30 of the powder. Oh, that was a good guess. Look at that. I don't know if you can see
Ooh.
that. So if it's 30 of the powder, Hayley, what's it going to be
I forgot
of the
which way
liquid?
around it was.
It's an easy one, this one.
Was it 1 of the liquid?
1 of the
to 3?
liquid,
I forgot which
3
way
of
around
the
it
powder.
was. So you're just looking at 10.
It's 10. So I'm going to take this up to 40. Now, the lovely thing about these bottles is you've got a stopper in there. If you hold it long enough, you might get the odd drip like there, but it's not just going to flow in, so it's quite easy to control. So I'm just going to make sure I get this to 40. Do you know if you're a gram either side? I don't think it's really going to matter.
So the choices that we've got from A1 Creative, they're different bottles dependent on what you're wanting to create then?
Yeah, they're fantastic. We've got sandstone, we've got white stone, we've got gold, we've got concrete, we've
Ooh, I
got
have to go back and watch that show.
bronze
Missed
in
and missed
there
that
as
somehow.
well. Oh, I'd love, love, love this stuff. Right, okay, so where did I put my spoon? It's here somewhere. I've lost it already, Hayley. I'll find another one. Right, there we go. So just mix this in. This is a water-based resin. It's eco-friendly as well. There's no smell to it. Now, you've probably noticed I'm not wearing gloves. If you
Yeah.
want to wear gloves, you can. I would say if you don't like getting messy, and especially with the Elichem one, if you do get the resin on your skin, it's very sticky. So
Yeah.
it won't hurt you, but
Yeah.
it's sticky. So it is advisable, I suppose, really, to wear the gloves just with demonstration time and, you know, time I always forget. So straight away, you can see this is quite thin. It's not ever so
Yeah.
thick, but it will start to cure quite quickly.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to find Medusa. Where's she gone? There she is. Again, clean your moulds when you're at home. Don't do what I'm doing, because if you have got residue in there, it will show. And I'm just going to start spooning in.
Now, Medusa is one of the very popular options that you've got. Don't forget, it's Medusa or White Fang that you are choosing. Just £19.99. Details are on your screen. But what was the update again? So that 60% of the stock has gone. So, of course, we've had one live hour already with the one-day special. We will have the nighttime hours, and then, of course, Kathryn's back at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. But what the update will be after that, I don't know. But what I can say is if you are placing your order now, we can guarantee that that will be on its way to you. If you're just placing an order for your Zuri moulds, it is in our warehouse waiting for a brand new home. So, of course, place your order and then we'll get that on its way to you. All you need to consider is if you're adding other goodies into your basket that have got delayed dispatch, then it could have a knock-on effect. So if you're just ordering your Zuri, no issue at all. It'll be straight on its way to you, and that could be your Medusa.
Okay, now then, I've purposely not mixed enough on here because I want to show something else if I've got time. Have I got time? Oh, I've got about 6 minutes. Hopefully I have then. Just because I can just show you another technique. Let's go for the white stone as well. So I'm going to do the same thing.
So
bring my scales
the same
in.
base throughout these? I know it's not an A1 creative show, but is it the same powder base?
Depending on the colour that you're mixing, there'll be different ingredients in there. So the concrete has kind of got that crushed stone effect in there. The sandstone will have something else in it, you know, so it does vary. So with this one, because I'm using white stone, 1 part liquid, 3 parts powder again on this one, so the same mix actually. So I'm just going to grab another little cup there. I did have another spoon and I can't find it.
I've got a photo to share with you guys at home. Now, it's not inspiration. It's not inspiration whereby we're showing you what people have created. Look at this. Do you know what this is? This is just one of the many pallets that we've got in our warehouse. We're just waiting for new homes. These are your Zuri moulds. Of course, lots of them have been allocated already and they'll be on their way to a fabulous viewers, just like you guys, because we had such an incredible launch at 6 o'clock. And they are there ready and waiting. Of course, usually we're telling you there's delayed dispatch because the stock has to come over from America, but we've kind of done it a different way this way around. It is there, all ready to go. Love it.
Okay, so while you've just been showing that photograph, Hayley, I'm just mixing. It is the same ratio on this one. So 3 parts powder, 1 part of the liquid. So we're going up to 40 again. There we are. So I'll just move the scales again. And I'm only doing this just to show you different techniques. If you didn't like what you did, you could just paint over the top or go with your different effects of wax and that sort of thing again. I'm using the same spoon, so I'm picking a little bit of that concrete up. But it doesn't matter, you can see this is the white stone. So give it a good stir. You want to make sure there's no lumps in there. I would probably give it a little bit longer than I have. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drizzle some of this in here as well. We'll see how this looks tomorrow because we will demould it. Now where the ribbon is at the bottom of Medusa, it's quite thin. It's not a very deep part of the mould. So I'm kind of easing that in there, but don't worry if you overspill on the edge of your mould. Really don't worry about that. I'll show you why in a little while. So I'm having to rush a bit because I know we haven't got a lot of time. So I'm just going to put a little bit more around there.
So this is a nice idea if you've got leftovers from different projects if you're working on other projects.
Yeah. Now I have got some orange sticks somewhere, but rather than look for them, I'm just going to give this a little bit of a swirl. So you can do sort of a marbled effect as well. The only thing I would say is if you're doing this, I thought this would look nice on our dragon type character again. But if you do this, if you over swirl, you're just going to mix it into a solid colour. But you can get nice blends. And if you wanted to separate different parts of the mould, so you'd got maybe if you wanted, it would be difficult on some of them, but something like on mercurial beasts again, perhaps if you wanted the tail a different colour, you could make a little, we referred to it as a dam in the last show. Sylvia Allen did it.
Oh yes, I remember you mentioned this before.
Yeah, you could, I can think of a few things that you could create that stop-off point with. So if you just wanted to maybe use part of a mould as well, use that stuff that you put your posters up with. It can be pink or white or blue.
Oh, yes, the tacky stuff.
Yes, that stuff. And form a little stop. And then when you pour the resin in, it will stop at that point, so you can separate your colours that way. Or the Medina, the air dry Medina would also work because it's water resistant.
I love this effect that you're creating here.
So, well, I'm going to leave it at that. There's more of the white at the bottom, but I don't mind about that. And I'm just going to leave that to sit. Now, what you will have to do with the A1, I'm not going to use the heat gun, but I am going to pick the mould up and I'm going to drop it.
I've done that with cake tins.
Why'd you do it with your cakes?
To get the air to the top.
Exactly, that's exactly why I'm doing this. So any air bubbles will come to the top. And this is a really, really good point with Zuri moulds as well, because they're nice and thick and firm. They're not sort of spilling all over. You can do that and drop them from quite a height.
There's a good depth to these moulds. When
Very
you look at the
good.
profile of them, you can see how well they're made.
Yeah. So there, I will just put that to one side. We'll demould that during one of the shows tomorrow.
Lovely.
Got all sorts of bits sat there now. If I just bring Medusa back in, the one that I've done, this is not fully cured. With the A1 resin, you can demould in between 20 minutes and an hour with some moulds, and I'm saying that very cautiously because this might sound a little bit strange. If you've got a very chunky mould, then you've got more chance to demould it successfully. If you've got something that's very, very fine in detail, leave it longer because it's going to be a breaking point.
Okay.
So leave it 24 hours, leave it as long as you can. But once again, do you know, I'm not going to do anything to her tonight because I want to sort of work on her a little bit more tomorrow and really let her cure. But look at the detail there.
Amazing. I mean, you can see there, literally, that is as it's come from the mould.
Yeah.
Does it change colour? Because obviously there's colour in this when you pop it in the mould. Does it dry lighter, darker?
It will come out a little bit darker and it will go slightly lighter. I've got another one here. This is White Fang that I did this before I came today. These are still dry and you can just see a little bit of the lighter blue coming through.
Yeah.
This was from the original show. I don't think we've got the blue on this time, but I was just playing and
oh wow.
So, you know, I was just using up spare bits again.
But the thing is, you're using up the spare bits, but you could go back in with paint if you wanted to unify everything.
Use it and paint over the top. If you don't like the mix, just use it. These can go outside. We have the sealer to go with them as well.
Fabulous. Oh, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. So there you go, another very successful hour with Zuri and of course the one-day special. Now, if you've got any goodies in your basket, please be sure to check your baskets out. Had another very busy hour, of course, with the one-day special and those additional moulds as well. So please do finalise your purchases and don't forget you will have that £5 generated ready for you to use as a credit potentially tomorrow if you're shopping again with us. But more about that tomorrow. Kathryn, thank you so much.
Thank you. Looking forward to tomorrow already.
We are indeed. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll be back up with you.